This magic moment when you look into my eyes, baby, I can see the love that's meant for me, and then it happens from the way that you have left me, baby, I can see like you were meant for me, and then it happened, from the look in your eyes, baby, I can see forever till the end of time.
The Grand Old Bakery, we're called?
Grand Old.
And you're the owner, and what's your name?
Tracy.
Tracy at the Grand Old Bakery, folks, just fed me lunch. And this is the interior of this charming, charming little Miramichi business. I sat right at that table right there, and I was served a proper turkey supper, turkey dinner. And look at the beautiful place to come in. Every day they got lunches. So every day you guys have a different lunch. And tomorrow I think she said is rice and meatballs, and then the next day is going to be ham, mashed potatoes. So they do beautiful baked goods in here, folks. Very friendly service. And I had just an excellent down-home lunch. And the name of the place is called the Grand Old Bakery. And they are at, what's the address again?
Bridge Road, Chatham Head.
So Bridge Road, Chatham Head. It's where that old intersection, where the lights used to be in Chatham Head. And what's the road cutting across here again?
Water Street.
Water Street. So at Water and Bridge Road, folks, come on in and say hello to Tracy. Well, welcome. We're a couple of days past St. Paddy's Day. We're on a Tuesday. I'm here with the local historian, Roger Como. And just a quick correction from yesterday. We showed this photo of the great Stephen Heckbert at the Shadbangers. And we said this photo was from 1996. That photo is just from a few years ago. And he does look great in that photo. So that's one housekeeping record. We're here with, we're back, Raj, for 1996. We're part 3. The video that I opened up with, the music driving, is actually Roger's brother Dennis. Dennis passed away when he was 19 years old in 1969. That's just Roger and Dennis up in their old house.
No, a couple other musicians too.
In that, no, but just, I think that recording was just you guys, wasn't it?
Yeah, in the camp, yeah.
Oh, so they're out in their little cabin.
Yeah, maybe it was just the two of us, yeah.
And then they're recording into like an old reel-to-reel. Dennis was on vocals strumming and Roger's in the background. This magic moment. And I was driving east on Water Street going into Chatham. We had mentioned in yesterday's show about John Kerr working at that cement plant, Lafarge. So that was in that photo. Roger Como. Raj, why don't you pass one of those crates over again, those trays? So we're here with Raj. We're in his basement. Roger is the local historian, one of Miramichi's local historians. He has his own collection, decades of stuff. This is an example of how he stores things. These are homemade out of flashing. Roger did make his originals out of sheet metal from the mill, but when the mill closed, he had to figure out a different way. He goes down to the Kelly boys here in Logieville and uses their bending machine once in a while. But they're made for the same size as a newspaper.
And a cover.
And a cover to go over it. Everything's stored everywhere. But I'll tell you what, this whole Miramichi history project with Roger Como here has been, every time I come into his house now, oh my God, there is stuff everywhere. He's pulling out books. It is quite the display. So Raj,
Yeah.
Leo Murdoch. Leo Murdoch is the son of the great Matilda Murdoch, Logieville's greatest artist, the famous fiddler that died in her 90s. She was Order of Canada. Now, Leo Murdoch knocked on my door today. He was actually speaking about you. he said that you phoned him up not long ago saying you had a few photos you wanted to show him of some ferries, because Leo used to work on the ferry.
Oh, yeah.
And Leo's like, I never get down there. And Leo, you know, I said, you know what, Leo? We're doing this show. Start to watch. I said, come on, like, get in touch with Roger again and come and look at the photos, because it's therapeutic. It's so good to be in your space and what you've created. But this is what Leo did today, okay? So Leo comes from a very creative family. His mother's Logieville's greatest artist. She's an Order of Canada. And Leo wrote this poem, okay? I just want to share it here, okay? He wrote this. It says, March 9, 2024. My father passed away February the 6th. Leo wrote this poem and delivered it to my mother's home today. I was home. Mom was out having a coffee. And he wrote it and shared and wanted to just give it to Mom and share it. So I'm going to read it out. This is a Miramichi. This is the embodiment of a Miramichi here. There is a sad time in your life when a very special someone that you love is called away to heaven above. When this happens, oh, the poem is called Goodbye, My Darling. When this happens, it makes you feel angry, sad, and blue. At times it makes you feel very lonely and you don't know what to do. Hold your head up and think of all the precious times that you had. This may help cheer you up when you're feeling sad. Precious memories of a loved one is all that's left behind. So say a little prayer for them whenever one comes to mind. Just thinking of your true love that used to walk by your side each day, walking and talking of different things as you walked along your way. Keep all these precious memories of your true love, and may they never part. Keep them always on your mind and deep within your heart. It's a lonely road to travel with your true love gone away, but the precious memories of your very special love will help you every day. Look up to the sky when you're feeling blue, for there is someone very special that you love smiling back at you. And that's a really beautiful thing, because Leo just, he just lost his brother, another local musician, and he just lost his wife. You know, I'm sitting here with Raj right now. Raj lost his wife a few years ago. My mother just lost her husband. There seems to be a lot of this happening in our society, but this is a poem that comes from a generation of people that were able to roll their sleeves up, get moving, they know that they have to keep moving in life, and we can all learn from that, because we're kind of losing that. Everybody's being diagnosed with this, that, or the other these days. We're feeling very depressed in our society, it seems like. We're using that word way too much. We're teaching it to our children in schools. We're laying behind that as a victimhood and something like that. So it's very important to keep moving. And this project for Raj and I has been very therapeutic. And that's what we're doing here. So thank you, Leo Murdoch. And we hope to have you help us sometimes, or when we do the Matilda Murdoch episode. So isn't that a nice way to start out, Raj?
Sure is.
Yep. Okay, what do we got here? I know what I got. I have another bowl of Roger's famous barley soup. He brews it. He was brewing it. He was brewing it earlier. It's just beautiful. It's like really a perfect little, let me see this. Just a sec, I'm going to give it the first taste here. I don't know how you do it, but it's perfect every time. Yeah, so we're on 1996, part 3, Mirami-histor-chi, and 96 was a busy year. Roger has a load of stuff here.
Let's just clear this off the board here
Okay.
first. Back in 76.
Okay.
And Ryan, you'll finish reading off the bottom line.
Okay. So here's a shout out again to Brian Richard, who's put in much time, sports reporting for the Miramichi Leader over the years. And this is from 20 years before, 1976, but this was just a, like a 20-year later type of thing. There's Brian Richard, there's a photo of him. And it was, oh no, this is from 1976.
Yeah.
Belated rejoicing for the Northmen. So Brian gave a little a write-up of his, it's his 100th column. Write-up? Is that what it is? Brian's 100 column?
Yeah,
Right?
You had to get that on the last.
Okay. So he gave a few things. We're not going to read it all out, but at the bottom, he said, to celebrate my 100th column in the North Shore Leader, I didn't say a bad word to anyone. So Roger likes that. And there is Brian Richard. And you know what? I called Brian the other day and told him that we were doing this. And the gentleman that he is, he said, oh, I'm looking forward to going and watching it. So you know what? Maybe if Brian has been watching, I don't know. But maybe he's a guy that's going to be able to pull up some stuff for us in the future if we continue with this project.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be sitting here with us one day sharing some stories. That'd be kind of cool.
Well, we have a pretty good story back in '96, and the whole write-up was done by John McLaughlin.
Okay.
And a lot of people, he's known as Jake.
Jake McLaughlin, yeah.
So it's all to do with the Irish-Canadian Folk Park, which
Oh.
was a plan that they were thinking of for the future.
Yeah.
But the first line reads, the Irish-Canadian Folk Park is a dream not come true.
Oh, okay.
Right, maybe just
Okay.
jog a little.
Okay, we do come from a village or a town here that has a massive Irish contingent. There's a local Chatham boy, John McLaughlin, goes by Jake. And here's a story. This is an opinion piece, a viewpoint that he wrote. It says, Irish Park scuttled by push for hotel. This is from the 1996 July 16th version of Miramichi Leader. The Irish-Canadian Folk Park is a dream not come true. During the last 10 years, there has been an on-again, off-again talks about an Irish-Canadian folk park in the former town of Chatham. In the late 80s, a group of people formed a committee and they wanted to develop a feasibility study for an Irish folk park. This study was completed in 1989 at a cost of $85,000. The background to the report says, within the province of New Brunswick, a significant proportion of the population are of Irish descent, and this Irish community is a living culture with an active interest in Irish and Irish-Canadian heritage, culture, and entertainment. Nowhere is the vitality of the Irish community more evident than in the Miramichi area of central New Brunswick. A successful Irish festival has created a heightened awareness and cultural renaissance within the region and has attracted visitors from across Canada. So the park did not come into fruition, but there it is right there. And you know what? When I was walking into the old Yvonne's gym today, a young guy was walked in. How you doing today? And he was as Irish as, Johnny Kelly himself. So he we just talked about it's a great day, and he was a real friendly chap. So here's a young guy from Ireland. I think he's here studying at the college.
So there's a lot of happiness there on this here sheet here.
Okay.
Opening of the 13th Annual Irish Festival.
Oh, right on. And speaking of the Irish Festival.
And in this photo here.
Yeah.
Okay, you can show it.
Oh, cool.
We're going to feature Pete's wife.
Okay. So quick wit and political jabs, all part of festival opening. This is from the 13th Annual Irish Festival, Chatham, home of Canada's Irish Festival, 1996. Here are some photos of that. It's a really great time. I've loved it over the years. Paul McCracken. Now, have you heard of a better name than that? Karen Dawson, Cam McCracken of Newfoundland, and Brian Crozier of Hamilton, Ontario. Kelly LeBlanc with Miramichi Energy. We featured them yesterday. An overview of activities at the Lord Beaverbrook Arena. That's the main depot for the Irish Festival. That's where all the tents and stuff are set up. And here's Joanne McLean. She sells wares at her Woodcrafts booth. And Joanne is the wife of Pete McLean. They live down on the East Point Cottage. And Joanne's wife, better known as Turtle. And anybody that knows that couple knows that Turtle...
And she was Turtle's right-hand man during his mayorship of Logieville.
Yep.
Yeah.
Joanne is a very capable, smart woman. And I was just going to try to say that real nicely. Anybody that knows that couple knows that they work together well. But, you know...
Okay, we have some young kids here being featured in Oh, what was that?
No, I was just laughing at that. I was just trying to word like it's just they're a great couple.
My soup is getting to you, eh?
The soup is getting to you. Okay, I gotta go down and talk to Turtle, and we're trying to track down some old Bison's jerseys, and Roger played on that team and an old Logieville ball team. So Turtle is gonna be one of my my guys. Okay, what do we got here? Soldiers' stories. The branch number 3 Legion, and remember we're doing 96, is open daily this week, welcoming visitors and area children interested in learning more about local soldiers' contributions during both World Wars and various other conflicts. So we have Liam McTiernan. He's an 11-year-old. He studies at Chatham. Amanda Ross and Jessica Mott. And Jessica, and they're Logievillers. They leaf through some scrapbooks while other children in the Miramichi East Playground program look on. And it's great that the kids go and do this. My guess is that the photographer said, okay, everybody look at the table and pretend you're interested. Lunch is in 10 minutes, and if you don't do it, you're not eating. Because when you get a bunch of kids doing stuff like this, 1 out of 100 is actually interested.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to get into Lord Beaverbrook here now.
Okay.
So we have 2 pages here.
Okay.
So maybe we'll show the Beaverbrook
Okay.
thing here, page first.
Okay. So everybody knows Lord Beaverbrook, former Max Aiken, born in Ontario, moved to Newcastle when he was 1 year old and started kind of making money when he was a kid. Very brilliant person. Not going to paint him out as a perfect human, who is, but he did go on and have there's his house. It's over off the King George Highway. You can see the back of it from the King George Highway. This is the front. I forget what street that's on, but just one parallel down to the south. And there's a statue of him. There's a statue of him over in the Newcastle Town Square. And I'll tell you what, he's an amazing, he died in 1964.
All that
Okay.
information is in there.
Okay. The Old Manse part of a movie, Lord Beaverbrook Helps Save England. Okay. Here is the story. It says, Lord Beaverbrook helped save England. There's a story in there. Roger has some stuff underlined. I will say Beaverbrook, who was born in Ontario, moved into the manse in Newcastle with his family when he was only 10 months old. He was the 6th of 10 children born to a minister. At 13, he published a paper called The Leader, which sold for 1 cent. He was a brilliant-minded financial economic wizard. Beaverbrook moved to England at 17, and where he later was involved in politics. Winston Churchill appointed him Minister of Aircraft Production in 1940. Beaverbrook played a large role in helping England win against Germany during the Second World War. He's the one that got the airport, like the aircraft built in Gander, Newfoundland. He hired pilots from all over the Western world to fly them over, like bush pilots. Brilliant. Beaverbrook quickly cut through red tape, building factories, better protected areas, and increasing construction and repairs of the Spitfire Hurricane. By age 27, he was already a millionaire. In his 40s, he became a newspaper publisher. He owned the most successful newspaper in the world at the time, out of London. He bought the Newcastle Manse and gave it to the town to be used as a public library. And he appointed Louise Manny as the first librarian. He died in 1964, 2 weeks after his 85th birthday. And here's the funny thing about it. And Lord Beaverbrook slept in a bed there's his bed as a child. So the thing is, we're mentioning all those amazing things, but you know, his personal life was not perfect by any means. You would have to go back in time and ask his old wife. But I just read this, and this is just a coincidence. This is a book written by David Adams Richards, and it's a historical nonfiction on Lord Beaverbrook, and it's very easy to read. I just went and got it at the library, and it is really interesting. I was very impressed by what this guy accomplished. Winston Churchill, Raj, was actually asking him strategy and said, okay, should we do this? And Beaverbrook knew the human psyche, and he's like, no, if you do this, they're going to do this, 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 and this, so you do that. And Churchill trusted him, said, okay. So this man right here, a Miramichier, had a massive, massive role in the way that the world's history was shaped, mainly during the World War II era. Unbelievable, actually.
Okay, we're going to just deal with the festival with these 2 pages here. And
Okay.
then we're going to get to him on the backside after this.
Okay. The rock and roll packs them in. This is the Rock and Roll Festival?
Yeah.
That Miramichi Rock and Roll Festival, I remember that. This is from the July 19th, 1996 edition of the Miramichi Leader, folks. This is the old Rock and Roll Festival. They had that over at the Civic Center. Caption: Stephanie Connell won the Maryland contest, and Byron Stewart's 57 Chev at a car sale. That's Stephanie Connell dressed up as Maryland. Right on, Raj. Here's some more from the Rock and Roll Festival. Many turned out for the Goody Shop's Golden Oldie Antique Car Show. Here is the car show from the Rock and Roll Festival, hosted by the Goody Shop. That's a restaurant down in near the square in Newcastle. And there's some photos of some old cars. And my favorite part in Vancouver, when I go in the mornings, every Sunday morning, there's a group of car guys,
Yeah.
and they meet down at a beach. They all park their cars and hang out for the day.
Yeah.
And it's really cool.
Oh, yeah.
So many turned out for the Goody Shop. Hiram Baisley, we mentioned him the other day. I drove by that place today, Raj.
Oh, did you?
I drove in the South Napan Road, took a drive out.
Oh, good.
1926 Ford Model T. Gary and Eileen Randalls of Quispam Sis with their 54 Mercury, and the 1969 Mustang owned by Weldon McTavish. Is Hiram Baisley still alive?
Oh, no.
No?
Oh, no.
Okay. Because if he was...
He was 69 in 96.
Okay. Because if he was... I was going to
Oh,
try to
yeah.
go meet him. Because an interesting guy, Miramichiers, and Raj, just before you share that, I shared this before, okay? This comes from Lines on the River. It's David Adams Richards' experience of fishing the Miramichi, and he talks about this is how he described this old fella that he was fishing with. He was always and will be the embodiment of a Miramichier, proud, conscious of others, fearless within the bounds of physical environment, full of humor, and yet somewhat shy. That's a really good description, because the more I look into my hometown, the more I'm seeing what people are doing. And it's kind of hidden. Like, we don't showcase it. And people are doing it on their own times. And it's a very capable people here on the river, folks. So I'm impressed.
So that's another of the festival there with
Yep.
Nelson Stewart played a big part in all this stuff here.
Oh, yeah?
This guy travels that many miles.
Oh, wow. So some more from the Miramichi Rock and Roll Festival. We had a lot of old vehicles on the river. People love their old cars. I am not the world's best car guy. Some people can just look at a car and they know what year it is. That's not me. 1928 Chevrolet Coupe owner George Matchett of Nelson, Merle Colford and Nelson Stewart. Interior of a 1940 Mercury. And what does a taxi driver do? Cabbie drives 1,000 miles to take part in car show. Miramichi native Merle Colford drove for 12 hours, 1,025 miles to attend the Goody Shop Restaurant's 3rd annual Golden Oldie Car Show here on Sunday. And where did he come from? I'd say 12 hours would be outside of Toronto somewhere. Doesn't really say. So, anyway, really cool. Did you go up and check out that car show when it was here in 96?
Oh, the memory, I don't know if it was that good.
Oh, yeah?
Okay, right here we have another sheet there, but it's indicating the winners of 1950 and under. That's the age of the car.
Okay.
And this guy won second place.
Okay. So, sticking with that car show, there's some photos. Look at that old weapon right there, folks. Really cool. This is on the Miramichi, 1996, the Rock and Roll Festival. The 1950 and under models, first place was Guy Thébault. He had a 1950 Buick. Second place, Hiram Baisley, a 1926 Ford Model T. And many turned out to view the vehicles. Well, you know what? The more I hear about this Hiram Baisley, the more I wish I would have got to know this guy.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah, he was so smart. Okay, this is, we talked about young Ricky before.
Yep.
Here's some news
Okay.
let the public know.
So in this 96 year, this young Ricky Knowles out of the Miramichi here, he was becoming a very successful artist. And look, that's his work right there. There's a photo of Ricky, and look at the work that he was creating. He was working, doing some animation for Disney. Really amazing, really beautiful stuff. There's another picture of one of Ricky's works. And I wonder where Ricky is right now. He said, you know, Ricky Knowles with samples of his drawings left and above. A local man is fulfilling his lifelong dream, and Walt Disney is helping him. Ricky Knowles of Miramichi has just been hired on a 5-year contract with Walt Disney, and he was a James M. Hill graduate. And I'll tell you what, good for you, Ricky. I might, when I have some time, Raj, I might check him out and see where he's at right now in his career.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Oh, that was it. That was pretty good. Let's just insert, nothing in here now. Just,
Yeah, okay.
just a leaflet. Center leaflet celebrating Canada Day celebration.
Okay.
Nothing there for us.
So Miramichi weekend, June 28th, 1996, another special edition. This is what the Canada Day celebrations edition looked like in 1996. Wonder who did the artwork on that. The Miramichi weekend, Canada Day, 1996. Really cool. Times have changed so much where these things, these editions, the community doesn't wait for them.
So we just mentioned Leo Murdoch. Now here's something that we should recognize as his grandson.
No, it would be his nephew.
Leo?
Yeah, Mary Jane's brother, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Leo Murdoch,
right.
that poem I just read, stopped off, wrote a poem, gave a copy of it to Mum. Mary Jane, Matilda Murdoch, Logieville's greatest artist, the famous fiddler. This is her grandson. There's a congratulatory newspaper clipping here. Roger Cummo, the local historian, was always documenting his local Logieville crew. And Chris Kingston is the son of Mary Jane, who we want to have here helping us host, and Lawrence Kingston, and he was so intelligent. And Christopher Thomas Kingston of Logieville on his graduation, May 23rd, which is Bob Dylan's birthday, from UNB Fredericton, double major, chemistry and physics with first-class honors. He was really intelligent, really brilliant. He received the first ever UNB Hypercubic Scholar Award. Top graduating chemistry student, folks. As a local Miramichi, Logieville boy, the humbleness of people. You'd never hear of people bragging about something like this, but this deserves to be bragged about. The Society of Chemical Industry Merit Award. He also received an NSERC, whatever that means, graduate scholarship for postgraduate studies, which he will use toward his doctorate of chemistry degree at the University of British Columbia in the fall. Really, really excellent. Chris Kingston, haven't seen him in a long time. But what a proud thing to be. What's something to be proud of?
Yeah, these are awards after graduation.
Oh, right on.
James M. Hill.
Cool.
People there.
Okay,
You know.
so this is 1996. This is some James M. Hill graduation things, and I recognize some of these faces for sure. So there's a photo. I'll read these names out. I can recognize them just by looking. This is the first time I've seen this. I see Jennifer O'Connell there, Buddy Doucette. I see Brian Moore and Catherine Bailey there. Catherine's, I think she's a PhD. She's doing some work in some societal studies. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but something like that. Sorry, Catherine, no disrespect there. So we had, in that top photo, we had David Marquis. He won the Eddie McDonald Memorial Trophy for MVP of the Tommies hockey team. Mike Melanson, he was the MVP of rugby. Brian Moore, he won the McDonald's Award for Academic Achievement. Buddy Doucette, Male Athlete of the Year. Jennifer O'Connell, Female Athlete of the Year. Tony Fraker, Peter Wong, Little Jimmy Flieger Memorial Trophy for MVP of the boys soccer and boys basketball. And in the photo it left her, Catherine Bailey for outstanding student leadership, and she won the Rotary Youth Merit Award. And Brian Moore, winner of the McDonald's Award for high academic achievement and participation. So right on, some very good work from some local Miramichi students in 1996.
And the people that provide these awards are pretty interesting.
Well, yes. Well, I know one there in the Eddie McDonald for the MVP of the Tommies, and Eddie played. He was Junior's son, and oh my God, Marg and Junior's son,
Yeah.
brother of Larry, Ricky, Derek, Vicky, and Kim. And he passed away. He died in a car accident. I don't know what year it was. I think it was early 80s. And Roger always said that there was a little bit of a correlation there with your family and their family.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
they had 4 boys, 2 girls. One of the boys died in a car accident. Sports people, and so you always said there was a little bit of similarities there.
We had the same family mix with the 4 guys and the 2 girls.
Yep.
And where my brother Dennis died in a car crash, the same as Eddie.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And my dad kind of put his fingers underneath the lawnmower by mistake
Oh yeah.
and got a little. And Junior did the same thing.
Oh yeah. I
So it was
remember they
all-
nipped their fingers
all
off.
these
Yeah.
things here.
Oh wow.
Okay, you probably have to read the first paragraph. and
Okay.
these things here.
Okay.
It's in
Pizza
town.
Delight, Pizza Delight. Okay, anybody on the Miramichi or even kind of in the Atlantic provinces knows Pizza Delight. It is a long-standing restaurant. Fraser marks 20 years in business in Chatham. There's a photo of Pizza Delight in 1970 and Pizza Delight today. That was 1970 right there. I remember when we were in high school, they had all-you-can-eat spaghetti. We used to go down and think we could eat, 2 plates and you're full.
Yeah.
From chicken to ribs, pepperoni to pasta, life in the restaurant business has been a slice for Clark Fraser over the past 20 years. I bought the Chatham Pizza Delight in May of '76, Fraser said. Pizza Delight has come a long way since starting life as a small restaurant in Shediac in 1968. And we have Lorraine Jenkins, Darlene Dower, and Clark Fraser at Pizza Delight working right there and right on. And Pizza Delight, it's 2024, and my mother and my sister's family, they just went there for supper the other night, so it's still going strong.
Yeah.
Shediac, the first Pizza Delight. Would you have been able to answer that? First,
Well, maybe
I wouldn't
so,
have had a
yeah.
clue. Wouldn't
No.
have had a clue.
Now these are a bunch of kids at St. Andrew's Point and Logieville.
Oh, wow.
A little bit of.
Oh, cool.
About that.
Attacking the beachhead. Students put hearts, minds back into project. Students work at rock removal with Stephen O'Reilly. Removal sign Stephen O'Reilly donated. Here are a bunch of students doing a community project that has some environmental awareness involved with it. And I'll tell you what, you get some students out working physically, being outside. It is the cheapest pill you could take. It's exercise and nature combined. They're both free, and the benefits, you know what the side effects are, Raj, of nature and exercise? All good. They're all good side effects. It's a free pill, the most important pill you could, those are the 2 best you can take. There is now a park at St. Andrew's Point off the Logieville Wharf where a week before only beach grass and hardy shrubs grew. The adult facilitators behind the St. Andrew's Point project are proud of what Dr. Logier students accomplished there last week. Laurie DePlacy is one of the 38 students who helped plan and execute the park development. I was on pathways and flower beds. I've done a lot of raking to get ready for the grass seed and getting big rocks out of the way. Amanda Cummo, one of the sponsors, the painter of this picture right here, worked alongside DePlacy Friday morning. And this is what Amanda said. It's been fun, but it's also very, very tiring, she said. We've had to work through everything this week. Mud, sand, rain, and salt water. But we got a lot done, said workmate Julie Casey. Supply teacher and volunteer Joanne McLean worked at the site throughout the week. She noted how far the students had come. David McNulty moved soil from the horseshoe pit area. And what a great story. The kids doing some work. Again, nature and exercise, free pills. The side effects to those pills are only positive, which, Raj, brings me to our sponsor.
Okay.
We just spoke about Amanda. One of the sponsors here, folks, in the old Mirami-histor-chi. Look at that. But look at that great work from Amanda. That's Roger's daughter.
Yeah.
She created that for Roger's, was it a birthday or your retirement?
Oh,
It's,
only knows.
it was one of those because I saw the picture. I think it was retirement. No, maybe it was your 70th.
She wasn't too impressed and wasn't worthy of putting up on the wall.
Yeah, well, Amanda, you know, most artists always are critical of their own work, but, you know, it's
But she
beautiful
did-
work.
But she did give me some good white teeth.
It's beautiful work. So Amanda is a fine arts graduate from Mount Allison University, and she works right now as a nurse at the Miramichi Hospital. And Amanda has done her house. She's highly talented and has done a lot of work inside. The interior of her house is absolutely phenomenal. And her work with her pen and painting and sculpture, etc., is no joke. So why not, if you're in the Miramichi and wanting to have a gift for a loved one in your family, why not get a local artist like Amanda to do a drawing or something like that? And you know, if you're wondering how a woman like Amanda can sponsor a show like this, well, she just does it by being a great cousin and a great daughter. And if you want to get a hold of Amanda, you just get on into the Miramichi, roll down your window, and you just ask anybody if they know Amanda Como. She works at the hospital. So there's one of our sponsors, and great work, Amanda. And you know what, Raj? Ben, my nephew Ben, just texted me, and he wanted Amanda's number. So he said he was going to get Amanda to possibly do a drawing of him and his girlfriend.
Oh my God.
They live in Boston. So there you go. That could be a nice little commission for Amanda. And a drawing, Amanda, that does about that big. She says it takes her a few hours. It's worth it, and it's personal. And there's our local artist, Amanda Como. Okay, back to our show.
Imagine, back in '96.
Yeah.
40 years.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So this is a business that's very popular now.
So in 1996, so this business opened in 1956. This is the 40th anniversary of Adams Funeral Home. Marks their 40th anniversary. This is on King Street, out towards when you're going south. It's right near the Highway 11 that you'd be going to Moncton, and I'll tell you what, they are the service that took care of my father's recent passing, and I'm not going to lie to you, and I'm not just saying this just happened. I didn't know this was in here. Roger just had it in his collection. They were phenomenal.
Oh yes.
They were unbelievable.
Yeah.
They were so good to us, and we all spoke so highly of them. Keith and Kelsey at Adams Funeral Home. They were so good.
Okay, this is two little quick clips here. Von Durrell.
Oh, wow. There's a picture of the Fighting Fisherman in 1996 holding up one of his belts. Look at that. Yvonne, the new edition. A new edition has been added to Yvonne Durrell's museum in Bay Saint Anne. Therese and Yvonne Durrell were in Moncton on Saturday, where Yvonne was presented with one of the original Molson belts formerly used by the Canadian Professional Boxing Federation. 1996, Yvonne Durrell, he held, I forget what Canadian title it was, but I would have to go and do my research there.
We'll probably come across it again.
At some point. Oh, I see that face.
Yeah.
Look at this, eh? This right here, folks, is from 1996. We've mentioned this guy before. That is Mr. Wolfgang Huxma of Taintville, and It says, running 26 miles for fun. Anybody that knows anything knows that 26 miles equals a marathon. It was fun, a lot of fun, said Wolfgang Huxma of Miramichi when asked how he made out at the 100th running of the Boston Marathon last week. To most people, running 26.2 miles in 3 hours, 11 minutes, and 58 seconds would not be considered fun. But Wolfgang, he's a top athlete in the town of Miramichi. I saw him running a few weeks ago. I was assuming it was with his granddaughter. He looks very solid. I think he even did like an Ironman. Maybe not. Maybe he was only a runner. But his father, we featured a story of what his father did. His father built this massive boat out of metal in the 90s or 80s or something, and that's an incredible story unto itself. Yeah. So very remarkable family, very capable, and exercise, that free pill of exercise has been part of that man's life his whole life.
So we can only do this.
Yep.
There's too many awards to mention.
Okay. Minor hockey, this is from April 96. Chatham Association announces award winners. And once again, we're on the Chatham side. We're Logie Builders. This is Roger's personal collection. And this is, you know, what we're doing. So this is what we have. And we're not covering as much on the Newcastle side. So there's no reason for that other than this is Roger's personal collection. Minor hockey, Chatham Association announces award winners. The Chatham Minor Hockey Association held its year-end banquet on April 17th at the Chatham Lions Club. Over 400 people were there. The guest speaker was Peter Nevin, and he is the chief scout of the Moncton Alpines of the Quebec Major Junior League, and he is now a scout for the Chicago Blackhawks. And Peter Nevin, I think, has all 3 of those Stanley Cup rings. Yep. From the 2000s. Yep. And Peter lives that way, and it's a hop, skip, and a bike ride.
Down at the beach.
Down at the beach. And we showed a picture of Peter with Bobby Orr. At the 1967 Chatham banquet, Peter Nevin played junior hockey in Oshawa, and I think paired up with Bobby Orr. Yeah. Amazing.
Okay, here's a couple of people that should be mentioned here.
Okay.
Underlined.
This is from April 23, 1996. It says, Whitty Manderson nominated as Freeman. And isn't that, okay, 2 local people have been nominated for Freeman of the city. They are Charles Whitty, a columnist with The Leader, and Parker Manderson. Mr. Whitty served for well over 30 years with the Moncton Times as a journalist and manager of circulation, and has authored the weekly historical column in the Miramichi Leader, the Whitty Files, and Parker Manderson is founder of the Family Land Campground, a former official with the local school board, and is past president of the Miramichi Historical Society, and good for them. And Family Land Campground, I spent many years there as a kid, and remember the rumor that Bob Barker was down there? Was that true? Bob Barker went camping at Family Land Camp? I think that's bullshit. That couldn't have been.
Well, maybe he came in on a ship.
He came in on one of those ships, yeah.
Oh, this is the first here now.
Oh, wow.
City.
Oh, okay. This is Roger Como. He's collecting everything. Tuesday, June 11th, 1996. Shane and Natalie Savard with Miramichi City Transit's new bus. City bus service hits road Monday. We're a small community here. It's a rural community, so we don't have the amenities, of course, as a big city. So this was the first running of a local bus, a local city bus. A city bus service will soon be running. Miramichi City Transit, to be known as MCT, will begin Monday, June 17th, 1996. Wow, really cool.
So there's a lot of excitement here with these young dancers.
Okay.
There. A little bit there. And
all right, on Raj. Yeah. It just keeps coming. Roger Como, folks. It just keeps coming. Canada's largest puck hog sitting right next to me. Wait until we get into his dancing career. We're going to be getting there. Junior dancers earn a mark of 99.5%. Well, right off the bat, I'm not a guy of metrics. I don't think art can be put a number on, so that 99.5% doesn't make any sense to me, but it does mean they were good. Look at this cute little group of kids with their trophy. Look how proud they look. and I will read out some names. Spotlights and Sequence Junior Competition Dancers from left to right: Marcus Daly, Ashley Daly, Ghislaine Waugh, Marissa Legacy, and Matthew Hutt, and Melissa LeBreton. The junior competition, they received the trophy for best group for 8 to 12 years old at the Chaleur Regional Dance Competition held this past weekend in Bathurst. And I mean no disrespect when I say the group received American 99.5%. Who, that doesn't make sense. We're talking art here. Dance is about all feel, but I'm sure they were great. They won their award.
So we got some clippings here with the shutdown of the base there.
Uh-oh.
And the countdown.
Oh, yeah.
The countdown.
Was that around this time, eh? 96?
96, there was the countdown.
Oh, wow.
Showing some of the buildings.
Countdown. Military involvement at base plans to continue until June. The PMQ is vacant at CFB Chatham. Anybody on the Miramichi knows that CFB Chatham was an important part of our community and economy for many years. That's where my father worked. Those are the old PMQs. There's a shot there. There's a shot of a gym. This was the countdown to the closure. The base weight room. That looked like a great weight room.
Oh,
Snow gathers on steps of vacant homes. But now, that whole area up there has been reinvented into retirement Miramichi. So if you're looking for a bridge game any day of the week, you go up there, but just make sure you don't go up there for 4 o'clock, because that's when supper is. And make... But I have family members that live up there. They love it. About 30 civilians remain on base. The post office, mail no longer at the base. No need for plowing entrance to empty garages. These are some photos. The base was closed, folks. They moved out. It was a sad time. Our community, the post office is closed. Our community took a hit. There was no plowing on that garage. I wonder how many dents were in that garage due to some slap shots. We had some good hockey players that ended up bunking there. One of my friends from high school, Shannon McNeil, she was there. She became a good part of the Miramichi. We mentioned Van Burgess before, and Bobby Keenan.
Oh, yeah.
There was lots of good players that came through there. And we used to, when I started my softball career in the men's league, I was a teenager pitching. We played against the base team. They were the Hawks or whatever. And Frankie Weeks was their coach. And I was 16 years old, and I'll tell you how good they were. I beat them every time I pitched, and I was 16 years old.
Well, these are highlights of what was at the base.
Oh, yeah?
You know, 3 highlights here.
Okay.
Search and rescue there.
Oh, yeah, right on.
Little things there.
So they're highlighting some of the base closure. Flying high in the 70s. CFB Chatham made base in 1966. Growth spurt follows. There was airplanes. It was a special time because my dad worked there as a civilian. And there was like ice festival, like there was like winter carnivals, and they were doing ice sculptures, and there was broom ball games. It just seemed like it was so much fun. The H-21 rescue helicopter helped save many people while it was stationed here. Search and rescue. Base had its own paper, radio, cable system. Queen Elizabeth II, Prince Philip, they visited the Chatham base in 1976. There's a picture of that helicopter that was a search and rescue here on the Miramichi for many years. We did take a hit, Raj, when that base closed. Oh. And when I take a drive through there since I've been home a few times just to check it out, and you know, they got some businesses up there and they're trying to do some things.
We got to mention this guy here.
Okay.
Just to read those little things there.
Okay, okay, cool.
Fly tire. Yeah.
We live on one of the world's great salmon rivers here in the Miramichi. It flows in from the North Atlantic in the Gulf of, well, it's through the Gulf of St. Lawrence, but the Northumberland Strait, etc., Miramichi Bay. And our river, when I've been doing a little bit of reading, our river is one of the best because it doesn't have many rapids. The fish are able to go through, I don't know my fishing, but here, a fly tires saluted in Gillespie book. So there was a book written on fly tires, and I'll tell you what, if you're a fly fisherman, it's a very amazing thing, and fishermen are very particular about their flies. Dewey H. Gillespie of Miramichi is launching a new book. The Fly Tyers of New Brunswick tells the story of fly tying in the province, and yeah, so there's some Miramichiers that have been, you know, great fly tyers over the years. And I just read, like, again, David Adams Richards' book on it, and he mentioned a guy named David Savage that was tying everybody's flies.
Oh,
I think it was David Savage, and apparently he was amazing. But I learned a lot about, you know,
Yeah.
how particular they are about their flies.
This is a guy that works on ice.
Oh, wow. This is from March 22, 96. The Coast Guard icebreaker. There's a picture here, folks. And anybody, this is March 22nd. Right now, it's March, whatever, 19th, and the river is open.
Wide open.
It's wide open. This is, it's got to be one of the earliest ever.
Yeah.
It's one of the earliest springs. The Coast Guard icebreaker Edward Cornwallis cuts a path through the channel of the Miramichi River. River watchers have been enjoying these views while they can. Recent transportation department cutbacks have threatened icebreakers services here. So it's always been an important thing in our river here. There's an icebreaker right there, guys. It doesn't need it this year. You could go out in the river in your canoe right now.
Okay, this is interesting little sports story here.
Okay.
Get the first paragraph and then follow this here.
Okay.
Okay.
The Ironmen lose in triple overtime. This is from 1996. Roger Como has this cut out for some reason. Jeremy Francis's goal at the 11:43 mark of the third overtime period gave the Newcastle Beavers a 2-1 victory over the Chatham Jonquière Ironmen. The story of this game was the brilliant goaltending of Ironmen's none other than Tony Robichaud and the Beavers' Jan McCullum. Another highlight of the game was after 5.5 periods of hockey, not one penalty was called. Wow, no penalties in 5.5 periods. Tony Robichaud, the losing goaltender, he just happens to be a neighbor growing up here, and he was another kid that Roger and I had a great part in training to be a goaltender. Him and Adam Como, they lived beside each other. They were both goaltenders for the Tommies. They played road hockey in this man's yard for years and years. They were the youngest two out there, and they both played goaltender. It's all they wanted to do, and they didn't flinch. They just became really good goaltenders and really good guys.
Well, I got to shoot some of the balls, you know, in spring training, slap shots at Tony, and he said, is that as hard as you can shoot? I said, oh, I'm not shooting hard enough, so I let go another one, and went right by his ear and right through my garage window.
Oh, did you? But no, seriously, we had great road hockey games out there, and those kids, they didn't flinch. They were great little goaltenders.
Game, yeah.
And they played all through the system here on the Chatham side, and they did very good.
This is all the same thing, just read the headline and show.
Okay. City Hall deal will cost Miramichiers $6 million. Costs for Miramichi Place include yearly rental of $163,580 for 25 years. Workers do repair on the roof of the new Miramichi City Hall, folks. This was 1996. This is over in the Newcastle Town Square. And here's another photo that Roger has. City Hall, almost ready. Miramichi's new City Hall at the former Lounsbury's building, which is scheduled to be open in April. This is 96. Final stages of reconstruction. Materials are lifted to the 3rd floor. There it is, folks. That's the Miramichi City Hall as we know it, under construction in 96. And they sit in there now and are calling the shots for our city. So there you go.
So we have a brief ceremony here.
Okay. Brief ceremony marks base closure. April 2nd, that's my mother's birthday. 1996, Lieutenant Colonel John T. Van will salute as part of a goodbye. This is, again, CFB Chatham saying goodbye on the Miramichi. It was a dagger to the heart and to the economy of our town. Sunday at 2 p.m., several hundred citizens of Miramichi gathered at CFB Chatham to witness the ceremony marking the formal closing of the base. Closure of military facilities today no longer sees offsetting government contributions because of affordability, said Base Commander Lieutenant Colonel John Van Will. And that is, and a Miramichi liter cost $1.09 in 1996. I just saw that at the corner of my eye.
There's a little action here.
Oh, right on. We got a little field hockey. There's a great photo. I'll read the caption. Field hockey. I don't think anybody that's ever gone to watch a field hockey game over the years knows the rules. Riverview, I never ever was getting them straight. Riverview High's Wendy Innes stick handles away from Monique Robichaud, and she's the brother of, we just mentioned, Tony, of James M. Hill Tommies during high school field hockey action Saturday in Riverview. Field hockey seems to have gone down in popularity now. But Monique, that's her right there, she was an absolutely wonderful athlete on the Chatham side here for many years. She lives in Calgary right now, and I think her mother Diane's out there visiting.
Well, here's an important guy that worked for Tim Hortons Leafs there back in the day. Doug Underhill featured a story on Blair Clancy.
Oh, okay.
And down to here anyway.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit there.
Okay. Blair Clancy, keeping stats at a game. So back in the 90s, this is from March 1st, 96, Blair Clancy watches numbers for Leafs. We had a senior hockey team here called the Miramichi Tim Hortons Leafs. Blair Clancy is the Miramichi Tim Horton Leafs eye in the sky. I used to go to those games with my buddy Johnny Saunders. Clancy attends all Leafs home games and most road games and charts the play. From the third floor of the Civic Center, Clancy records all turnovers, shots on goals, number of hits, who wins faceoffs, results of power plays and penalty killing, scoring chances, and plus-minus statistics. And the local historian here, Roger Como, during our road hockey games as kids, Roger documented all of those stats when we were playing road hockey for us kids. As well, Clancy follows all local hockey players, especially those who are playing away and who might be available for the Leafs in the future. Clancy's duty is to report to the coaches after each period and after the game so player adjustments can take place. So that's really cool. That's a great story from Doug Underhill. Behind the scenes always goes unnoticed, and that was from a local senior hockey team. We're at about we're closing in on the hour. Are we going to be able to mop this up in 10 minutes? Part 3 of the.
Oh, hard to say.
Okay.
Local guy.
Brian Savoy with winning logo. That's Buddy?
Yep.
Savoy wins hospital logo contest. Wow. Okay, I didn't know this. This guy right here. That's one of the guys that lives on Rogers Street here, okay? This is a local I don't know what to call him yet. Artist, designer. He's quite brilliant actually. I'm going to go visit his house and check his work here soon. Buddy Savoy wins hospital logo contest. 65 logos were submitted. Brian submitted 28 and he drew 28 more he didn't submit. Brian Savoy with the winning logo. This is the logo for the Miramichi Hospital, and this is Roger's neighbor. And so Buddy, we call him Buddy. Buddy Savoy, they come from a creative family. He's doing models and stuff. Maybe we'll be able to, he'll let me take a few videos of his work.
Oh, carving.
And we can show it.
Carving, popular with the ducks.
He's done duck decoys, sold them all around North America. He's an incredible creative guy.
So you want to check on Huey and his son?
Sure,
Troy?
sure. Huey Moore and Troy Moore. Moore's goaltending skills passed to next generation. This is two Miramichiers right there. Huey Moore and his son Troy, two Miramichi goaltenders. Early help influences way son plays. Huey Moore smiles when talking goaltending, especially about Troy. I never had to push him to play. He always loved it and still does. At age 27 and standing 6'1", he is a good goalie. He played his minor hockey in Chatham, where he led the midget AAA to an Atlantic title in 1987. He played 1 year with the Tommies before joining the Miramichi Gangneau Packers in '89. Troy then went to St. John's Stingers of the Maritime Junior League and backstopped them to the Maritime Junior A title. I didn't know this. Wow. Then it was the Summerside Western Caps Juniors in '91 before suiting up with the Miramichi Moosehead Devils of the Senior League in '92. In '92, he played with the Rishabukto Schooners of the Senior League and won the top goalie trophy. Miramichier Troy Moore, didn't he live right near the rink?
Yeah, that's where Huey lives.
Yeah,
His
yeah,
home,
that's
yeah.
where he grew up, right next to Lord Beaverbrook Arena, folks.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a great goaltending career, and I didn't know he won all those awards.
Oh, look at yeah.
Right on.
Okay, there's Maddie.
Oh, there's Maddie. So Logieville's Greatest Artist is about to make another appearance on this Mirami-histor-chi, getting in touch with the past. There is a great photo right there of some Miramichiers, and there's Logieville's Greatest Artist, Matilda Murdoch. Her son dropped a poem off today at my mother's house. It was really beautiful. That is Matilda Murdoch, Myrtle Bremner, Doris, and Eddie Quinn. And speaking of Eddie Quinn, Lillian has been watching every episode. Hey, Lillian, once again, that's 2 shows in a row. That's all you're getting. Getting in touch with the past. Logieville seniors share treasures with students. Becky Brewster uses a clothes wringer. Jason Gauguin uses scale to weigh beans. Katie McCormick. So there's some local kids that are hanging out with some seniors in Logieville, and I'm assuming this is the Logieville Community Center, and some seniors met them. An intergenerational project. The Golden Circle Seniors Club in Logieville commemorated Heritage Week with an antique display, and the Logieville Club hosted the February Zone Seniors Meeting and invited the 60 participants to view the display. Students from the Logieville Elementary, and that's what we just showed there. Great photos, Raj. Thanks for sharing.
Now Dave
Well.
Butler put this little clip in the paper.
Okay.
Small little clip.
Here's Roger Como. Cut this out, folks. After he was done with his razor blade shaving his face in '96, he used it to cut this newspaper clipping out, and it's from Dave Butler, who covered local sports on this side of the river and gave the kids a great voice, and he wrote them up very nice. The James M. Hill Lady Tommies blanked the Miramichi Valley Lady Palamo 2-0 in Newcastle Wednesday, in New Brunswick Northeastern Conference High School field hockey play. Vicky Como, my wonderful sister, and Monique Rabashaw, we just mentioned her, our neighbor. 2 of the Tommies' season high scores tallied for James M. Hill, while Lisa McFarland registered yet another shutout. James M. Hill is now 5-2 in regular league schedule, while MVHS is 1-6. My sister Vicky was a tenacious athlete. In basketball, defensive, field hockey, defensive. She doesn't stop. She was a physical force, and she's a shutdown player.
Yeah.
League of his own. Oh, look at this. Holy God. In his 70s, Shaw still has tricks to teach youngsters in hockey. And now, Raj, when you're looking, Roger played with this guy's team. Hal Shaw's Raiders. My dad played as well. Dad would pair up with this guy on defense. Hal is the guy right here. He used to wear the number on the back of his age. And he would out there, and he ran his team. It's called Shaw's Raiders. I remember in one tournament in Bucktouche or something, you guys come in second place, and I was a little kid watching it. And when he got the trophy, he just gave it to me and said, "Here, I don't want that." And there's Frank McKenna. So Hal Shaw with some fellow hockey old-timers, Danny Gay, Frank McKenna, and Reg McDonald. And now, Raj, when you're looking at Hal Shaw, thinking back when he was in his 70s, now you were in your 70s, think of how much more effective you were in your 70s than old Hal was. But he was a great guy. He came from the Air Force Base, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he was a strong man, and he loved the recognition of everybody talking how old he was playing hockey. He loved it.
Well, Ronnie and I, we put that label on us there, the Raiders.
Oh,
I
Hal
said to
Shaw's
Ronnie,
Raiders.
every time we went to an old-timers tournament, I said, we have to get ourselves a name. So that's...
Oh yeah, so Roger named Shaw's Raiders.
Yeah.
And there's a photo kicking around here of an old team photo of Shaw's Raiders. We'll show you that.
Okay, maybe, are we running down there?
Well, we can do it as long, you know.
Okay.
What do we got here?
I shut down.
Dr. Loge royalty in 1996. Dr. Loge Middle School. So that was the Dr. Loge royalty in 1996, folks. Dr. Loge is the middle school on the Chatham side. Those names read as the Queen, Allison Bennett. Bobby Bennett was her father, and Princess Amy Berrio. Standing, the 1995 Queen, Josie Quinnell, new King, Dean Gillis, and Prince Kevin Bowes. There is your vice principal at the James M. Hill High School right now. My finger's right over it. There's the Queen, Allison Bennett. I hit a home run off her father when I was a kid, Bobby Bennett.
Yeah. Okay, this here, we're not going to elongate this here.
Okay.
It's just this, the golden...
The Royal Canadian Air Force.
Yeah.
Final countdown to closure of CFB Chatham.
Well, this plane is...
Oh yeah, that's the
on
statue
the
thing?
pedestal, and
Okay.
that little clip there,
Okay.
read what that says there.
Okay. You can hold that photo right up into it. So don't let plane go, says Murphy. 2 fighter jets at CFB Chatham have a home and don't need a new one, says Peter Murphy, president of Branch 10, Royal Canadian Legion in Newcastle. So yeah, anybody that remembers that plane, there's a photo of it up there. That's still there, isn't it?
No.
They moved it?
It disappeared.
Oh, did it?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, politics.
There you
Away
go.
went the airplane. I think it went to Nova Scotia.
A Buzz a Voice, a new call center in 96. Everybody loves a good call center. You're sitting, having a nap on a Sunday afternoon. Somebody just calls you out of the blue and wants to sell you something. We all love that, folks.
So that's, if her picture's there, I'm assuming Karen was working.
Oh, Karen Carroll. Oh,
I
yeah.
assume
Oh, so Karen Carroll, local Logieviller, was part of that call center. There she is right there.
Her husband's blood.
Yep. She was an employee, Karen Carroll.
Yep.
I meant no disrespect, but you know, Jerry Seinfeld had a good answer for one of the Seinfeld episodes when somebody called him out of the blue. He's like, well, I'm busy right now. Can I have your number? I'll call you back. And they're like, well, no, we don't give it out. And Jerry's like, well, now you know what it feels like to call me without me giving you my number.
So when we became a city, this was a photo taken from up high on our hotel, our hospital.
Oh,
before
okay.
The hospital was tore down.
Much seen as positive in new city. So there's a Miramichi around the 96 year, became a new city. There is a picture looking northwestish, kind of north. There's the iconic Centennial Bridge. That is taken from like the top floor of the hospital. And beautiful photo.
Well, maybe we can close off with Barbara.
Okay. Okay.
Popular Barbara. Newcastle.
Okay, so we're gonna close off our 96. Well, no, as I'm talking, we might have it. So we're getting down to it. We've spent 3 hours on 1996. Nick McKinnon gives Master Warrant Officer Neil Townsend a military-style haircut. Base barber moves. There he is, folks. Classic photo. Getting a little army cut. What was his name? Nick McKinnon.
Yeah.
Base barber moves. After 27 years, Nick McKinnon is still cutting hair, but perhaps not as short. The veteran barber worked at CFB Chatham for the last 16 years, and he was doing all of the haircuts. So it was a sad story. Many people had to readjust their lives, had to figure things out, find new jobs, relocate, etc., etc. My family was one of them. Dad was working there in the air conditioning refrigeration sector, and he had to relocate in he had to relocate to the new hospital, which was actually turned out being a good move. Here's a photo from 1996 we're going to share. And yeah, this is, see that young guy right there? That's looks like he's about to fall down. You never know what the play said, but that player right there is none other than Joshua Arthur Cummo of Logieville, that grew up in this house as we sit, Roger's son. Josh played 2 years for the midget AAA Rivermen. He was a top defenseman in the province, an all-star defenseman. They won the title in 97, so when we do cover 97, I'm sure we'll be covering some things. And then I'll have a story about Josh's, how good he was on defense, that came years later from somebody that didn't know who I was, that was used to play hockey, and he told me a story about Josh. But that's a great photo, Raj.
Yeah.
And what else do we got? There's,
Left down the skew on that.
yeah, there's the O'Neill house down in Oscuminac. Look at that pad right there. It says, the house that lobster built. And that, I just drove by that the other day. I came in on my way home from Nova Scotia. I took Pointe-Sapin way.
Oh, yeah.
I drove all through there and checked it out. And that house there, folks, Raymond O'Neill.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful home. I knew his daughter, Melanie, I think.
Okay.
So what do we got? One more good story in there? We'll make her longer. What do you
Well,
got?
this is back in '96.
Okay.
Now we're still talking about replacing it.
Oh, wow. This is from 1996. It says, report says the Chatham Library is unsafe. So how long did that last? 5 years? The Chatham Library is unsafe. It is too close to Dixie Lee. The smell of grease is getting in there. It's making everybody that's reading books. It's believed an engineering expert found the brick walls of the Chatham Library might not withstand strong winds and could collapse. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Anyway, I go in there. I've been meeting since I've been home, I've signed out about 10 books and have gone through them at the old Chatham Library.
Well,
So,
now,
wow.
They're even discussing tearing it down and building a new one.
Oh, wow. Snow blocks, library front
Millions of
door.
dollars.
Oh, I'm sure it would be.
Yeah.
Okay, Raj. So we're going to call that good for 1996. Ladies and gentlemen, we've done about 3.5 hours, part 3 of 1996. It just shows you the extent of this man's historical vision. He reads through the papers, cuts it out. It's an amazing collection, and we've just skimmed the surface. Like, there's so much here. We're having fun in the basement. It's going to be interesting to see what I don't know. Are you around tomorrow? Are we going to do something tomorrow, or?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we might come at you guys with another one tomorrow.
Eventually we'll show some older.
Oh, yeah.
Older pictures, older stuff of the area of the Miramichi.
Oh yeah, Raj. We already have been, man. Like I think everybody's enjoying what we're showing here. It's just like an array of everything. We're revisiting what times were like in the old Miramichi through the years. We're showing how important community was. We're showing how times have changed. We are showing so much. And you know what? Roger had so many more things here that we never got through. And you know what? I'm going to show one more picture just because I found it. This is what we're closing 1996 with. Look at this right here, folks. We have a bunch of ladies that were trying to get into the 2002 Olympics in Salt Lake City for synchronized swimming out of the CFP Chatham swimming pool.
Well, they're trying to keep
the pool open. Okay, so this trio of ladies thinks the federal government is all wet with its plan to close the base pool. Shirley Trevors wrote to Jean Chrétien asking him to intervene to keep the pool, the only indoor facility in South Miramichi, open. With Trevors are friends Kathleen Hawks and Grace Fraser. So guess what? They must have succeeded because that pool is still open. So thanks, ladies. I might go up for a swim tomorrow. And with that, Raj, thanks once again for sharing all of your stuff and for having me over and for spending all that time chopping the ingredients and getting this barley soup ready. So we'll talk to you guys later.
Over and out.